Something has to give. As we know, Doug Armstrong is not done making moves yet. We have to talk about the St. Louis Blues' next move because there is one coming before the season starts. And we're also going to break down one player in particular that's looking to make a significant impact at the NHL level this year for the St. Louis Blues. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Blues Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. For the percentage of you who aren't subscribed to the channel, about 68% of you, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on with the St. Louis Blues. The support from all of you, we're almost at 4,000 subscribers, has been unbelievable. And my partner in crime, Mark Pye, will be returning, I promise this time, for our next video. And obviously, again, the support's been unbelievable. This is the place to be for all your daily St. Louis Blues content. But let's jump right into the first topic of the day, which is the St. Louis Blues have a bit of a logjam and not necessarily a salary cap problem, but they're really up against it right now. And this new article from Lou was outlining a couple St. Louis Blues, who may stay and who may go at the end of next season. But we also got to talk about this season coming up. This is a team that's right up against the salary cap right now. Obviously, there's a lot of salary cap space that's going to be freed up once the season starts via LTIR and Torrey Krug's contract, but they can't really do anything yet. So maybe they do make a move before the season starts, and you can see, heading into next season. I mean, one thing that Doug Armstrong's done, fantastically, since, if that's even a word, since, last season, is he's setting up Alex Steen beautifully to take over as the next general manager of the St. Louis Blues. And, Doug Armstrong, while doing that, has locked up a bunch of guys to long-term contracts, not even long-term contracts, just the whole team seems to be locked up, which is pretty impressive. But there are some decisions that need to be made heading into this season, and not just this season, but next season as well. And I think all eyes are on right now, and I see all you guys in the comments, Mathieu Joseph and what happens with Mathieu Joseph. Because to me right now, he's a tweener. He might be a healthy scratch. He might be a fourth liner, and he's making $3 million or almost $3 million at $2.95 million. That's $2.95 million you can free up on the salary cap that you can go out and make a move still before the season starts. And even if you don't want to do that, if you free up that money, it gives an opportunity to a guy like a Nathan Walker, which we'll get to in a little bit, because I know a lot of you guys are huge fans down there in the comments again of Walker, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But frees up almost $9 million in cap space that you can use, or over $9 million, I should say, once the season starts and Krug goes on LTR. So let me know in the comments, what would you do with Mathieu Joseph heading into this season? Would you keep him on the team? I think he can play a role for this team. I mean, if you take a look at his stats, last season he played in 60 games, obviously not all of them for the St. Louis Blues, but he had 14 points and he was playing just under 12 minutes of ice time on average a night. Now, again, not all of those 60 games were with the St. Louis Blues, but to me, there's some other players I think you can put in that spot for a cheaper cap hit. Let's be frank. I mean, he makes $3 million, and if he's going to be a fourth liner who puts up less than 20 points a year, that is tough. I think you got to make a decision there. So I do wonder if he's a cap casualty, if you want to put it that way, heading into this year. So let me know what you would do with Mathieu Joseph in the comments. Now, Nathan Walker, this guy, league minimum contract, everything you want in a fourth liner. I see all the comments down below. Like I've been saying, you guys are huge fans of Nathan Walker. I'm not purposefully leaving him out of the lineup on the Puckpedia lines. And listen, I see you guys. Could I make my own lines? Mark has been making his own lines. Everyone's got a different opinion on what the lines are going to look like, and we don't know exactly what they're going to look like until training camp opens and then the season starts, right? So I can make all the mock lineups in the world, but for now, we'll just use the Puckpedia ones. But he is a great fourth liner, and again, if you take a look at his stats from last season, 73 games played, a little bit, better point production, if you want to even call it that, 16 points than Mathieu Joseph, averaging the same type of ice time. But again, there is a significant difference here, and that is, while it's similar point production for the amount of games played, he makes far less. He makes league minimum. So I'd rather him be in the lineup. He's got a bit of a motor as well. Everybody knows, right? So he can really get going. He's a bit of a water bug there on the fourth line. Love him on the forecheck, all of those things. And you can chip in for some points here and there at a significantly less cap hit. So I feel like that's something that has to be considered heading into next season as well. Because again, they're right up against it right now. You can't really make a move right now because you can only go 10% over the cap So they're in a tough situation here if they do want to make a move heading into the season where they have to wait for Torrey Krug's LTIR relief. Or maybe the plan is, yeah, and let me know how you feel about this in the comments. Doug Armstrong saying, actually, we're not going to make a move. Bring everyone to camp. We'll make a decision there. But what if Carbonneau makes the team, right? So then you have to make a decision where it's like, okay, now we have to trade Mathieu Joseph. But to me, the closer you get to the season, a lot of teams are going to start signing PTOs. They're going to finish signing, remaining RFAs, whatever it may be. They might be even tighter up against the cap, and they might be more reluctant, certain teams, to take on a Mathieu Joseph's contract at $3 million. And you can see here, heading into next year, a lot more of RFAs, UFAs, everyone's locked up this year, of course, or heading into this season. So there's going to be some decisions that need to be made very soon, and we got to start talking about them. Now. Matthew Kessel's a very interesting one because certain stipulations in his contract, he could become a UFA Group 6. So that's going to be interesting to see if he plays any NHL games. We talked about that in a previous video with another signing as well. So going to be interesting. He's in the final year of his contract, so that makes it a little bit more stomachable for some other teams if they want to take on that cap hit, almost $3 million, but it is the final year. Wouldn't retain any salary, but again, it's going to be tough to trade a contract like that. But you have a bit of a logjam right now. What's happening with Carbonneau? I don't think it's likely he makes the team, but anything can happen, right? Dvorsky. What if Dvorsky really comes into training camp and surprises, right? Look who you have on the wings there. You have a lot of guys in the reserve, in the press box, that are very hungry to make an impact. And speaking of very hungry to make an impact and surprise, Logan Mailloux. We got to touch on Logan Mailloux because, again, spent some time in the NHL. I feel like the plan, if you want to call it a plan heading into this year, is to have him play in the NHL. And again, he spent some time in the NHL. We'll take a look at his NHL stats specifically. Last year, he played only 7 games for the Montreal Canadiens and had 4 points. He is an offensive defenseman. 4 points in those 7 games, so not bad point production whatsoever. He was playing, which I was pretty surprised about, just over 16 minutes a night on average in those 7 games that he played. But again, let's not forget, this is a young player. He's not even 23 yet. He's a big body. The one thing that stood out to me last season, the scouting report, everything like that, the point production in the AHL went down compared to last season when he was with the Laval Rocket. You can see last season in 72 games, he had 47 points. This year in 63, he had 33 points. But the one thing that stands out to me is we know he can put up points at the AHL level and even the NHL level at this point. That's a good percentage there in terms of point production last season. But the thing for me is he was adding different elements to his game. That's why the point production took a step back in the AHL. He's adding more physicality to his game. He was more responsible in his own defensive end. So adding those things to your game on top of your strength, which is your offensive output, I do think there is a world he makes this team next season, that he will start in the NHL. And again, he's in all the mock lineups. If you look at the Puckpedia lineups, everybody's mock lineup so far, he's on that last pairing, and it's with Tyler Tucker, which I think is pretty cool and might be a really interesting dynamic actually that I think they should explore. So I think that's the plan. I think they want to start easing him a little bit into that power play position as well, to be the power play quarterback at some point. I don't think he's power play 1 yet. Although, as the course of the season goes on, you never know, that could change. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they end up doing with the lineup heading into next year, where Logan Mailloux fits in, because, everybody's kind of talking about this at this point. And if he ends up making the team, I think he's ready to make a splash. I think he has NHL experience. And I think that's the plan, to kind of slowly start ushering him into that, playing higher up in the lineup, first of all, and being that power play quarterback, that number 1 power play quarterback. Might not be right away. I don't think it will be right away, but slowly start easing him into that. But let me know how you feel in the comments about everything we covered today. They got to make some decisions. Been seeing a lot of, this has been a hot topic in the comments. We haven't really covered it on the channel. And of course, let me know how you feel about Walker. Should he be in the lineup? I think a lot of people would agree that he would be in the lineup. And of course, Logan Mailloux, I think he's going to be in the NHL to start the year. I think it should be pretty interesting. Let me know how you feel in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything St. Louis Blues.